The access to finance is a pathetic story because we have a banking sector that just doesn't want to lend to the real sector. And they find every other excuse not to do so. From the earlier years when they were recapitalized, they focused more on banking with government, and then the TSA came and blocked that practice. They now moved into investing a lot of their resources to treasury bills, and now we are having a fight with the central bank, pushing them to increase their loan-to-deposit ratio, encouraging them to come and borrow the 4 trillion naira that they have, cash reserve with the bank, which earns zero for them, and saying to them, come and take this money, lend it to the real sector at 9% interest over 7 years with moratorium, and we're having resistance. So if you look at some report of the IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is a branch of World Bank, in 2008, it looked at the proportion of the lending of the commercial banks to the SMEs, and it was about 7.5%. Then in 2012, they looked at it again. It melted down to 0.4%. And I know that today it will be very low, maybe about 5-7%. But the thing is, if you don't lend to this sector, they cannot create wealth. And they have so much odds against them. And even then, the rate at which the interest rate is phenomenal. It's between 20 and 30%. The interest rate at which they are lending to the sector. So who is going to produce and manufacture and process at an interest borrowing rate of 20 to 30%? That's the big question.
The issue of continuity. In order for you to succeed in business, you have to be resilient and aim for a sustainable future. And we need to work on our mentality as business owners to not expect immediate rewards whenever we're investing in businesses.
First thing first, in Nigeria, we never really have constant lights. So 60%, or should I just say 70% of the time, we're running diesel. So that's expensive, you know. We also have issues with the road. Like when you're going to do a delivery, the roads are not as good as, you know. So sometimes you have to go like 2 trips, carry like individuals, go to the hall and stock. For the type of business I do, which is the cake, it's the bakery. It's mostly women that own bakeries in Nigeria. Mostly, I'm not saying men don't, but mostly. And the only thing I'll say is challenging for we the women are like the man label. People that have bakeries with men find it easier. So some people will employ women in the first place, which to me is unfair.
Newton's Mobile Cafe started in 2014 with my sister, Ehi. She was my partner back then. It started out of boredom. We both sat down in my dad's office and we said, okay, what do we do? And, you know, that was the birth of Newton's Mobile Cafe. It started as a food truck. We were one of the first to introduce the food truck business to the Abuja market. And quite frankly, it didn't do well. In a day, we were making maybe 6,000 to 8,000. It was very discouraging at first, but then I didn't give up. So when the food truck wasn't doing well, I didn't just fold my hands and say, you know what, I'm done. I said, you know what, I like doing this. You know, I have sort of found my passion, so let me push it a little further and open new doors. Female-owned businesses go through the struggle because, number one, people do not believe in your vision, and they think, na woman, she no go fit do that sort of thing. When I was putting up my restaurant, for example, I would have the male staff try and be disrespectful at times, but then I will quickly put them back in their place and say, listen, I'm going to pay you your pay per day, so I hope you understand that there is no man that is going to show up and give you that money. So please do not look at gender. I want you to do your work and keep it moving.
I started this business 7 years ago, but I was once a housewife, you know, like I attended Canadian, and I read medicine and moved to microbiology because I couldn't deal with the whole cadaver thing. And I wanted to be an art student deep down, but my mom was just like, no, read medicine. So I got married, and I didn't see myself going to do medicine. I just wanted to do art. And I found out that you can do that with cake. So over the years, I started taking classes. I was interested in this thing. I wanted to know why. I didn't want to bake like my grandma. My grandma used to bake. Well, I wanted to do something like Buddy, Cake Boss. I wanted to do something wow. So I had to go to classes for it. And I spoke to my husband, and he was like, that's fine. And I started doing cakes for friends and family. And over the time, I didn't think I was going to be where I am right now. I started having calls, customers started coming in, and the more the customers tripped in, it's wanted me to be better. As in, I just had to, every year I have to go and upgrade, and I think the biggest job I did was, I've done so many jobs, but I think the biggest one I was like, I've called my mother, I've made it in life. When I baked for the presidency, Independence Day cake, so I was like, okay, now I have to take this to another level. And so far it's been good. I love what I do for a living.
As a female, you deal with a lot of naysayers when you own your own business. There's people that just don't believe that you should be where you are and don't even understand the reason for your growth and how you're able to end up where you are. And a lot of women just need to understand that it's okay for you not to be accepted or appreciated or, let me say, recognized. And you just have to keep going and stick to the goal. You need to have a lot of thick skin, because most of the time you will find yourself in a male-dominated environment, and you just have to stand by your vision, put your foot down as to where you would like to be as a business owner, as a founder or a CEO, and also not get carried away by the titles, because it's the work that actually counts, and it's the work that would sort of keep the noise quiet or keep the room quiet, let me say.
The United Nations Development Program, they released a report that said that out of 1.3 billion people living in poverty, about 70% of them are women, and this is because of the reduced opportunities that women have in thriving in the SME sectors. Some of the factors that could be adduced to this are, one, they have a lower access to startup capitals, and this is usually found in situations where women business owners pitch their ideas to investors for early stage capital, and they significantly get lower response than their male counterparts. Another factor again is the low mentorship. So one of the things that the foundation is doing to be able to counter these challenges is that recently in Uke Nasarawa State, we launched an inclusive representation resource center for women and physically challenged persons. We also funded the first training and capacity building project by sponsoring women and girls to acquire skills on tomato processing, as well as entrepreneurial training to help them to build their skills and turn these skills into profitable businesses. And at the end of this training, we also gave startup packs to some of the people that we trained, and we've been conducting monitoring and evaluation to see how well they are, growing their businesses.
The only best way that if government wants a great job to the people, it is to empower the small, medium enterprise.